What you guys have to understand, that you need to understand, if you're not a lawyer, you don't have legal training, is if there's any plausible legal theory that can later fit the plotted points to the curve of the line, they'll do that. So that's why it's really important for Burke et al., who I do admire.
Yeah,
I don't want to be making fun of their way. That's why it's important for them to take these steps to whether or not the late sententiae excommunication needs to be declared before they vote at Conclave 2013 or Conclave 2025. The church will sort that out. If we truly come back to our senses, by we, I mean the sensus fidelium and the bishops, then they will back that in. They're like, as long as Burke and his homeboys got together and said, yeah, 2013 was fake, it doesn't matter if you bend a few canon law rules. Canon law is nothing. It's the divine law and actually the natural law that matters. We can't have a pope that's bending the principle of non-contradiction as Francis did. And look, Austin Ivory told us he basically invalidated himself. So it doesn't matter whether or not...
I think him responding to you...
Let me find that.
Yeah,
so much. Like if it really was just some it was an error, like him publicly responding to you gave the hand away.
I think so too. I didn't even tag him, did I? I don't think I tagged him.
No, I don't think you did. You did that show talking about, for context, about the his book, how we were talking about the St. Gallen Mafia, all of that, and then later that day, he just randomly tweeted at you. Let me see if I can find that and put that on the screen for everybody.
Anthony,
yeah, because I mean, people are talking about this. Like, it's not like the thing you sent to Cardinal Burke. It's not like you're the only one talking about this. I'm seeing other shows bringing it up, and they are talking about it in Rome. Like there are people. 100%. I've heard a few shows that I'm listening to, and they're talking about the St. Gallen Mafia and the influence that they had on getting Francis in, and it's like. It's not some pet theory that you have. Like, there's something to this.
Yeah, I feel like people treat it like Benedictinism. I think that's why Benedictinism was really negative, because it was guys that were saying they're positive, they're right, and it just was like this fringe kind of, not quite sedevacantism out of 1958, but guys that are just like, no, it is, and I'm declaring it, and now I'm going to my own church, and I have my own Pope Steve or whatever it is. Yeah. And it gets kooky. I never did that. I'm like, I don't call him Bergoglio. I call him Pope Francis, because I know the cowardly canker on the heart of most of even the good guys is probably going to dictate that he ends up being 266 Pope Francis because of Schrodinger's Pope, because that's how it works. But they have a hell of a lot of evidence to get rid of the Francis pontificate in the annuario later if they want to.
It looks like he did. It looks like he responded to your thread on Twitter where you're talking about, was Pope Francis's election legal? And then you had all the evidence. And below that, you're talking about his damage control tweet that he did.
But did I tag him?
He didn't tag him. He didn't at him. He just said his name.
Yeah,
does he follow me?
And then he wrote you, and he said, actually, it wasn't damage control, but the result of me misunderstanding something Cardinal Murphy O'Connor told me. I apologized and corrected, and then you responded. You said, what did you say here? You said, here's the problem. No one believes your BS story.
Yeah.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah, the fact that he even responded. Some people, I think, have there might be a way to get alerted when your name gets said, even if it's not added, I guess, because I know a few people that if you just say their name without adding them, they'll respond to it. So I don't know if there's a way to do that, but
yeah, maybe there is. I don't know. I don't care enough, but
yeah.
Will you take a super chat?
Yeah, sorry, we keep forgetting.
So Cars in Catholicism says, Tim, what are your thoughts about the news that there was a group of cardinals that got together in Burke's apartment over the weekend?
I mean, it would be dope it would be super dope if that meant anything. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but the normalcy bias that plagues us all has me thinking they're probably just getting together to have pizza and be like, well, so we're going to get another JP2 sort of center leftist build as a center rightist, and buckle up, boys. But I don't know. Burke's also a really holy guy. Maybe he's going to surprise us all. Did you want to say anything additional to that, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been one thing if they said who the Cardinals were, if we knew it was all conservative Cardinals getting together, if it was Syrah and it was all these specific guys, and we could be like, okay, maybe something's happening there. But like you said, they could have just been getting together to pray.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know what it is.
I don't think do you think anyone hangs out with Burke aside from Sarah?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what the dynamic is between them. Here's the thing. The one thing that is kind of wild is that this College of Cardinals is so drastically different from the last one, meaning the last one was like 58 or 59% European, and this one's only 42% European. Like, it's way more Asian and African, this one. So, like, the dynamics could be totally freaking different. There was one thing I sent you about them not even knowing each other that What I gotta look to our text. I sent it to you this morning.
Yeah, I saw that. Francis really didn't want them getting to know each other. Way more. So many more Hello Kitty backpacks at this thing. Can you?
Cardinals don't know each other so well, said Cardinal Aboro, whatever, of Sweden, who has spent recent days in a crowded Vatican lecture hall listening to the concerns and learning the names of the record number of cardinals Pope Francis appointed who will choose his successor. Cardinal Arborealis, I don't know how to say his name, sat in a section reserved for a small group of newcomers from countries that never had cardinals before. They included one from Mali, who he said had disappeared after the first day, and from Laos, who many days into the meetings hasn't turned up since. He himself said he felt lost all the time. It's like these guys are like, like this guy's coming and they're like, they just leave. They're like, I don't even know what's going on over here. What's happening?
Because they're like, can you imagine you're from Laos? You just pull into Rome and you're like, these guys are like faggot. You know?
running
These guys. Yeah, can you imagine? They're just like, dude, I was just coming to Rome to take part in a conclave, eat some lychees, get a boba, whatever. I'm just playing on my calculator, and they're finding out like half of these cardinals are all, you know, crushing on whatever American Idol male singer, and they're like, what? So they're
going in and they're listening to these talks they're like essentially the synod talks, and it's like, we need to worry about immigration and we need to care for the poor, and it's like they're just platitudes, man. Like,
yeah,
they're just platitudes. Like, that's all you hear from these people is just these empty freaking platitudes that don't mean anything. It's like, dude, I live in New York. I work a construction job. 80% of the guys I work with are from South America, and they're here like, you know, on some shady business. They came across the border crazily. It's like, I care for those guys. I treat them like human beings. I don't hate the poor. I just care about my country, and I don't want it to be completely overtaken by foreigners who have a totally different culture than mine. Like, it's like,
it's good of you to treat them as if they're human beings.
Well, if you listen to Cardinal Sarah, though, Sarah's like,
as if, you know,
if Europe doesn't remember its identity, like its origin story, right? Like, if you don't remember that the Christian, like, you can't separate Catholicism from Europe. The history of Europe was formed by the Catholic Church, and these people have just totally forgotten their whole origin story, and they're replacing it with these foreigners who don't give a crap about them. And that's the bigger problem right now. It's not that we hate people from other lands. It's that we're going to completely lose all of Christendom.
Maybe you don't. Speak for yourself.